Oleksandr Kraiev is an international relations columnist for several Ukrainian and international media outlets, and he has experience in the staff of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine and also in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And he joins us live from Kiev. Thank you so much for making time for us today. How do you view what's happening right now in Soledar? And of course, we've heard that there are so many civilians trapped there.
Well, definitely Soledar is the hottest point on the front line as of now, because we see that Russian forces put a lot of political and even ideological value into Bakhmut and Soledar region to recapture them. Basically, that's the only parts of the front line where Russian forces and also the so-called Wagner group is able to counterattack Ukrainian forces. And so basically, that's the only a point where they can achieve some kind of a minor victory and present it as a major success. And of course, the situation is quite dire, both for Ukrainian forces and for civilians located there, because still in Bakhmut, which was a city of around 70,000 civilians before war, and the Soledar, which was a village of approximately 10,000 people, there are still thousands and thousands of people who cannot evacuate. Maybe due to constant shelling, or some older people that cannot go anywhere because they have nothing left to lose. So basically, there is still a lot of struggling, and there's still a lot of dire situations on the front line.
Indeed. Oleksandr, I want to ask you about what Russia possibly does next and how concerned the Ministry of Defense in Ukraine is about the possibility of Belarus being used for a possible spring offensive by Russia.
Well, for the whole duration of war, I was here in Kiev, in my hometown. I'm still here, and I still vividly remember the times when Kiev was nearly surrounded with the help of Belarus forces and with the Russian forces coming from Belarus. So, taking lessons from those hardships, our Ministry of Defense have prepared a new line of defense on the northern border of Ukraine in Chernihiv, Sumy, Kiev, Zhytomyr, and Volyn Oblast. And so basically we're transferring part of our forces to the northern border, and we're getting ready to strike at the Belarus forces in case they will join the Russian forces in the renewed offense on Kiev, because Kiev as the capital is the main target of Russian forces per se. And as they say in Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, the approximate time of Belarus forces coming into Ukraine is just 2 hours. 2 hours before the full destruction of the first armored columns. So basically, we're trying to stay positive to some extent about our northern front.
Oleksandr, fantastic to speak to you. Oleksandr Kraiev from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and also a columnist for several Ukrainian and international media outlets.